Hiya and welcome to Itsy Crafty as I create a cover page in my A5 bullet journal. Here's a quick preview of what I've created, so if you'd like to see this step by step then please keep watching. This is my A5 bullet journal. This one is a planner, so it has the actual weekly and monthly spreads pre-printed in it. And what I'm wanting to do is create a cover page for September. I've decided to use the Mermaid Shores kit from Planners Anonymous for the month of September for the cover page, and I've got all of the different bits here. And what I'd like to do is pretty much use one of the pieces of paper as the base of the cover page. The first thing I need to do is just to trim the page down, just to fit it onto this page. How I visualised it was cutting it to have sort of maybe about 1/2 centimetre all the way round, a little bit more than 1/2 centimetre, just so the gorgeous 5mm washi hair that came in the Mermaid Shores kit, I could use that as a border all the way around. So I've measured the page across and down, and I've decided to cut it approximately 1.5 centimetres shorter in each direction. So I'm going to trim the piece of paper to 19 centimetres by 27 centimetres. This is my Fiskars Procision Rotary cutter, if you're interested to know what cutter I have. The next thing to do is to fold it in half and score it down the centre, just because that's the way the bullet journal opens and closes, so you want a nice firm score line down the middle. I could use the trim and score board, but I'm just going to pretty much fold it in half and then just use my bone folder just to give it a nice crisp edge in the middle there. And now you can see the page just fits nicely in there, and there's space around all 4 edges for the washi, which I'd like to trim it with. The next step I'd like to do is cut the letters SEP out of here for September. I'm going to use my Cricut machine to cut the letters out. You could do it in a lot of different ways. You can use your Cricut or your Silhouette machine to cut them. You could use a manual die cutting machine. You could just use stickers on top of it even, but I want to cut the letters out so that I can have a different finish on this page which will show through the letters. If you'd like to cut the letters out and you don't have any of these types of cutting machines, you can always print the letters out. So just find a font you like and a size you like and print the letters out, and then just use a knife. This one's really good because it's easier to do curves with this one, and use a knife just to cut around the letters to cut them out of here. But anyway, with this I'm going to use my Cricut, so I'm just going to hop onto Cricut Design Space. This is a canvas on Cricut Design Space where I've already put the SEP. But just to show you how to do this, if you click on text down the bottom here, it will bring up your keyboard and a text box. I'm using my iPad for this. It's very similar on my phone or my PC. But I have the text there, and what I want to do is put my S and then return to get the next line, E, return P, and there I have September. And then I just want to click outside of the box so the keyboard is removed. And the default font for most text appears, which is the Cricut font. So if you want to change the font, you can click on it, and then down the bottom here you can hit edit, and you can see, and you'll see all of the fonts. So there are Cricut fonts, there are your system fonts, or there's all of the fonts. So I'm just going to choose the font that I've already pre-selected, which is this BFC Birthday Party, and that changes the font here. Then I want to make it about 6 inches high. So I've measured that my page is approximately 7.5 inches high, and I've decided I'd like about 6 inches for the letters. So I want to make the height here 6 inches. My canvas is set on inches, not centimetres. You can customise it though. And then I actually want to change the line spacing. There's quite big gaps between the letters. So down here there's a line space, and you can just basically hold the negative down until you sort of get the line spacing that you like. So I've got -5.4. And then because I've done that, I just need to change the size again, because obviously it's no longer 6 inches high. So if I just click on the box for height and put 6 again, now there are my letters. So the next thing I want to do is to make it, and I'm going to make it on a mat. And you can see it's going to cut over here, whereas this is my piece of paper and I want it to cut over to here. So what I need to do is put this onto my Cricut mat so I can see where I want to move this to for where I want to have it cut. This is just a Cricut roller. I just like to use that to make sure there's good adhesion on the paper or the cardstock onto the mat, because a lot of my mats are getting a bit old and not so sticky anymore. Now that I've put the paper onto the mat, I can use these numbers here in order to place this September in the right place. So I think at about the 8-inch mark would be good. And then I want to have it about maybe 1/2 inch down. And now that I've positioned the letters where I want them to cut on the cutting mat, I select next. And I have it to cut cardstock. So pretty much I just need to load my mat. So press the load button. And then press the flash and go button. And then unload. I find with paper and cardstock, if you roll the mat away from the paper, you get less curling than if you try and pull the paper off the mat. So you can see here I have my SEP, and I will also need to reattach the centre of the P. And these letters that I've cut out here I could also use, not on my cover page, but I could certainly use them somewhere else. I could even possibly use them, for example, just on the monthly spread somewhere. So I'll keep them aside. So now you can see this will sit like this, and you could just glue this down and have the white SEP coming through. That's quite cute and minimalistic, and it lets the paper shine a lot. I'm just going to do a few extra things because I really like this washi that came with the Mermaid Shores kit, and so I'm going to run some washi down on this page so that will come through these letters. And then, as I said, I want to do the washi border, and I might do a little bit more embellishment. But you can see you can keep it as simple as you like, really. To glue it to the paper, I often use score tape in my bullet journal, and I like that because there's no drying and no mess. Just with this one though, because I've got all these little letters and everything to glue around, so I just grabbed my art glitter glue and I'm going to use that just to adhere the page down. I just want to work out by eyeballing whereabouts the middle is, so it's about there, and then I'll pop some of this glue down. So that's glued this side down, and now I want to run some washi down here. So I just want to make sure I pop the washi down in the right place. So I'm just marking through here so you can see where I started. And I'm just going to mark the top to make sure I know where that is. And then I've got this beautiful washi, and what I want to do is have a pink letter at the very top. So I'll just see what that looks like. Okay, that's quite cute. And I just want to try and match up the colours and the patterns approximately, just so I have a similar sort of colour running down here, and you can actually match the pattern of the scales. Okay. And I can see the washi's actually covered everything just with those two stripes, apart from a tiny little bit on the P there. So I'll just need to add a little bit of that colour. And I'm pretty sure I've got some of that colour on this bit. Yep, that works. And then obviously I need to glue this little bit back on also. And then you could do lots of other little things. You could have little part stickers or die cuts actually showing through from the back. So it wouldn't be the entire die cut. You could, for example, have like a little fishy swimming along, or you could even have the little fishy sort of popping out of part of it. You can see that. Or you could do the same with stickers. There's a whole lot of stickers, including ones with clear backgrounds. So you could, for example, have a little bit of turtle and have some of the turtle behind and some in front. You could sort of do all sorts and play around with it. Or you can just keep it simple and just have the washi there. I hope that's given you a little bit of inspiration to just play around and have some fun with the cutout. But I'm just going to keep it just with the washi, and I'm going to use my art glitter glue just to glue this down. And I want to make sure to glue around these letters. In a couple of places I've just put a bit much glue, so I'm just going to spread that out so hopefully it won't come through, and then I can just wipe the tip of this to get the glue off it. And I'm just going to let it sort of work into the place it wants to go. This is the advantage of using the wet glue compared to the glue tape. There's a little bit of movement with the wet glue so that the paper can sort of maneuver itself into position. So the next thing I'd like to do is just to put the 5mm washi border all the way around. I'll just cut the edge straight. Normally I tear washi, but I'm just going to cut it in this case, just to give it a nice clean edge. Just with the corners, it's a bit tricky to know where to put it, just so it keeps the nice sort of blue border. So I think what I'm going to do is the blue goes to here, and that's where I'm going to start this border. So just so you can see close up, that will be the corner. So there's the corner there with the blues matching. I'm really liking the addition of the washi. It's just given it a bit more of an organic edge, and then hopefully you can see there's sparkle on that washi as well. So that's looking good. That's as I visualized it. And the only other thing I thought I might do, I can obviously add little stickers and things to this, but I just wondered about adding a little bit more sparkle, and I have a jelly roll and I just wondered about sparkling up some of it. So I could, for example, add a bit of sparkle to some of these dark end waves. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up, but pretty much I'm just going to add some sparkles to some of these darker bits on the paper. I'm not even sure if the camera's picking that up, but in person I can see the extra little bits of sparkle. And that's my September cover page for my Archer and Olive A5 bullet journal. It's been a pretty simple process, and hopefully you can see that this is easily something that you can do, and it helps show off some of the gorgeous patterned paper that I know that we all have, and certainly I know it's in Planners Anonymous monthly subscription kits. So this is Mermaid Shores from Planners Anonymous, and I'm going to leave it there with this cover page. I'm actually really happy with it. I think it looks cute. It's got some sparkle. It shows off the gorgeous paper with the lovely little turtles and waves, and it also shows off some of that lovely washi from the Mermaid Shores kit. I'm very happy with this, and I think what I'm going to do now is continue with the monthly spread. I'll film that in a separate video if I do indeed film it. I'm not sure if you're interested in seeing these types of videos, so I'd really appreciate some comments to see if you're interested in what I do when I'm creating in my planner and my different journals. But if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much for being here, and maybe I'll see you in my next video. Bye!